Welcome to the Trippi Coaching Podcast. The fact that you showed up here today means that you are making an investment into your health. So I want to thank you all for joining us. So have you ever had one of those days when you're just hitting your routine on all cylinders, maybe a solid gym session, a relaxed shower with some music playing? You chill with a cup of coffee, maybe you write in your gratitude journal or read the paper, or even you catch up with some friends on a long walk after dinner. That sounds really great, right? What a day. But then there's other days when you're barely scraping by, and let's be real, life just gets in the way. You're swamped, and it feels nearly impossible to squeeze in any form of self-care. So just know you came to the right place, because today we're going to discuss how to create your winning strategy for no matter what kind of day you're having. You're going to hear tips from Tommy and me about how we get through our busy days and what we do to nurture our current goals. So let's get started right after a quick word from our sponsor.
The Trippi Coaching Podcast is sponsored by Hairborn Salon, located at 53 in North Avenue in Lombard, Illinois. This week, we shine a spotlight on Aaliyah. Aaliyah has been a lash artist for over a year now. She's a specialist in dramatic everyday glam. Aaliyah is always working on growing with new techniques and styles to ensure everyone leaves feeling even more amazing than when they walked in. She's been a Hairborn team member since 2021, and she is the smiling face that you will see greeting you when you walk in the door. Check out Hairborn Salon at hairbornsalon.com and make sure that you let them know that the Trippi Coaching Podcast sent you to receive 10% off your service.
Hey, Tommy.
Hey, Andrea, how are you?
I'm doing real well. How are you?
I'm good. Today, we're going to talk about getting through various types of days in your life. You know, not every day is ideal. Some days you have everything going in your favor. You've got plenty of time to make your food, go to the gym. Some days you're absolutely swamped, and there's just no way you're going to get it in. And then there's a lot of different levels in between. So today we're going to talk a little about how to navigate those days, and also to give yourself a little bit of breathing room on the days when it's just not even an option to get some things done. And you just can't beat yourself up on that. So, but I know you have a good method of breaking that up into tiers. So why don't you kind of start us out and talk a little about that?
Yeah, so this 3-tier evaluation is the way I evaluate my days and the way I got through losing 100 pounds and trying to lose the guilt around the all or nothing mentality that I did have. And, you know, like we say, you have those days when everything is just firing. You can get a long workout in. You could do a 10-step skincare routine. You know, you can cook all your own meals, and you bring your lunch with you from the night before. I mean, you just have that day that you're just rocking it and you feel good and you feel great. Then there's the days that maybe you have to put in extra hours at work, or you have to go see your daughter's violin concert, or, you know, you woke up late because you had something the night before. So what do you do on those days to still move yourself from the old new to the new you,
Right.
without compromising, your time for yourself?
Yeah.
So I like to think of this, because everything that you do for yourself to move you towards that next level is winning for your day. That's the way I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the gold plan, and that's your full routine. Those are days when you have ample time and energy, and it's like a 3-hour workout, a 2-hour workout. Maybe you hit the weights in the morning and you go for a nice walk in the afternoon.
Sure.
You sit down for your breakfast. You actually made breakfast. You sit down. You can implement mindful eating. You know, you have a well thought out skincare routine for my ladies out there. And then maybe you have time to meditate in a gratitude journal, or maybe you have time for a yoga class later. Those days are rare, but those are the gold days. Then you have your silver plan, and those are for your moderately busy days. And a lot of us kind of fall into this category on a daily basis, right? Those are shorter workouts. Maybe you go for your walk in the morning, and then hit the gym later or do a few push-ups and you call it a day. Maybe you do sit down for a nice, nutritious breakfast, but lunch you have to grab on the road because you just don't have time to make that breakfast, okay? It's choosing what you can do for that day to fill your goal,
Right.
to move your goal.
Yes.
Then, let me get through these plans, and then we'll talk about
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of where we fall.
Yeah.
Then you have your bronze plan, and that's your basic essential stuff that you need to do to move yourself over to that next level. Maybe you focus just on hydration for that day. Maybe you focus on hydration and cooking for the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's all you do. At least you're doing something for yourself. The biggest part of this is losing the guilt. I'm going to start right into me. I have been working on this project for the last, I think, what has it been, Tommy? 8 weeks, really religiously. I've been hitting it hard.
At least, yeah.
And I had to find 40 hours in the day on top of my 40-hour-a-day work week that I have with my day job.
Yeah.
On top of taking care of my daughter and spending quality time with her, and on top of spending time with Anthony and meal prepping and taking care of myself. I had to find 40 hours in that week on top of 40 hours. How do you do that? I spend 2 hours a day working out. That's 14 hours just right there in the morning that I could apply to this project. I had to get it out. Otherwise, it was going to cost me a lot of money if I didn't get this deadline in, right?
Right.
So my focus was hydration. My focus was, okay, I'm going to build a routine that doesn't include my workout.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gonna focus on my water and eating meals that are smaller in portions.
And one of the things to keep in mind as you're going through this is that you know that this is a temporary situation.
Absolutely.
That this is just what you're doing right now to navigate this the best that you can. Yes, it's not the ideal. You would prefer to be able to go work out and make your foods and all that stuff, but you're just in a spot that this is the way it is and there's nothing you can do about it. But this is just for now.
Right.
So
I focus on 3 things. Hydration first, my meals second. So I'd like to pack my meals. I'm going to make sure I pack my meals so I'm not taking in any extra sodium or any extra fat made from someone else. And then I'm just looking for any sort of movement, whether it's a quick 15-minute stretch or a quick walk down to the church where I pray or, something simple.
Yeah.
Something simple. But I knew that I took care of myself, even if it's for 10 minutes. So for all of you out there that have that all or nothing mentality where you think that, if I don't make it to the gym, well, I did bad, so screw it. I'm going to do my screw it eating today. It doesn't have to be like that.
See, and that's the problem is that's where it can derail a lot of people because they feel like, well, I didn't even come close today because I just, I didn't get into, I didn't eat the right foods. I didn't, it's just...
And the way to create this plan is to align it with your why. So I want to shed a few pounds. And I want to build a little muscle up. That's my current goal right now. So I'm doing things on my bronze plan that promote that. Okay? Maybe your goal is to balance your blood sugar. Maybe that's your only focus. Well, then you want to do that essential thing that is going to balance your blood sugar for the day. That one little thing. It doesn't have to be hydration like mine is because maybe my goal is different than yours. Yours is strength, right? If you can't get to the gym, what do? Maybe you do 100 push-ups right in your apartment here.
If it's a day where I know I'm not going to get into the gym, I tend to tighten up my diet a little bit more that day, and I try to make up the difference there. So I may not be working out, but that's not going to be the day that I go and have a cheat meal or anything like that either. I'm going to eat clean and try to be conscious of my diet that day. So,
yeah. So your goal right now is to tell us about what you're going through and how you're getting through it because you're busy too.
Same idea basically is, lose some weight, put on some muscle. My day, so training people throughout the day, I have, odd hours. You work, from you have a client at 7, you have a client at 9, you have a client at 11:30. You're kind of, in the in between. I'm doing office work, so to speak.
Right.
All the business type stuff. Now I'm lucky in that I spend a decent enough time around the area where I live that I'm able to, you know, eat from home most of the time, for most of my meals. But for me, one of my biggest things, and I don't, this is just what I do. I don't necessarily even have all my clients do this, but one of the things that I'm a big proponent of is meal prepping. For me, that helps a lot because if I know that I've got food ready to go, then even if I'm getting hungry, there's no draw or desire to stop off and get something or just eat something fast that's processed or something like that.
Because you're prepared.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I do is about twice a week I prep food, and I can make about 6 to 8 chicken breasts in my sous vide within a 2-hour span it takes to cook them. If you don't have one or don't know what it is, a sous vide is a water-based method of cooking. It's not boiling water or anything like that. It's actually just bringing water up to a temperature that will cook the food, and it does it in a way that it brings it up to the temperature, but it circulates the water too. So you get no hot spots in any of the meat. So from edge to edge, it's cooked perfectly the same. It retains a lot more moisture, whether it's fish or chicken, things like that. So even if you make it ahead of time and reheat it later on, it's going to be far more juicy than if you were to say grill it first and then heat it up again then. And then that's when you have like that really dry, rubbery chicken.
Like you're going to choke. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I might make have some chicken and then get some rice pre-made and then put that into, I like to eat out of bowls. I make big bowls of stuff. And so I'll have that ready to go, chicken and rice mixed together, bang, heat that up. Or chicken and spinach, tomatoes, and have a salad, something like that. But I get this stuff already. So I've got chicken cooking in the sous vide. I've got eggs boiling on the stove for my egg whites. I am, vacuum sealing, other food for the week and things like that. And, I just put some music on an hour and a half maybe. And I don't know, I have a good time. It's time in my head. I'm just kind of working. I go through everything. And then once everything's done, it's just real nice to know that I don't have to think about anything. And I can just go and get, a snack, whatever it is, and I don't have to cook everything. I mean, I get, I have my Greek yogurt and there's things like that I can just go in and pop in and get and stuff. But yeah, for me, meal prepping kind of helps me so that if I do hit, say, a bronze type day, the odds of me getting through it are going to be better, and I've got stuff that I can bring with me if it's going to be a day where I'm going to be gone for a while or something.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So all of you out there, lose that all or nothing mentality. It's not going to serve you anymore. You work out really, really hard, you do it all, and then you spend 2 days and not doing anything. So that's not going to help you. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. My workout schedule, I gave up the idea of a workout schedule, so to speak. I have a cycle that I go through, but I'm not holding myself to I have to do this on Friday or whatever, because you know what? There's going to be a Friday that comes up that I'm not going to be able to do it, and it's going to throw things off. And then you feel this guilt over it, and it's really just self-imposed, and there's no reason. And missing that day isn't going to be the end of the world. Just as long as you just don't. It's all just continuity. So let's say I get 3 days in a row, and I just basically let life determine when I have a day off from working out, because it's going to happen. There's going to be a day where I'm just there's no way. So I might get 3 days in, and then a real busy day. All right, I guess this is my day off from working out.
And then it feels more strategic, and then there's no guilt associated with it.
Right. And, and there's going to be times where you get a couple of days strung together, in a row. And it might be, frustrating because, if you do work out on the regular, it feels weird when you don't,
Yeah, but those are the days that you can pause for 5 minutes, get into your head, say some nice things about yourself. There's always something you can do to self-care.
Well, and it also, I think, absence makes the heart grow fonder,
True.
and even with this, so it's something where, like, if you really do enjoy going to the gym and you just like are too busy for a few days, you'll go back in with a little more enthusiasm than usual and maybe hit it a little harder that day. So
Yeah, and there's days I miss the gym, and I still have guilt associated with those days. I'm not going to lie. I do,
Yeah.
because it's just how that's just the fabric that I have in me, is to have that guilt. When you are strategic, though, and when you don't take those days off, and life does get in the way, it's okay then. It's
Yeah.
okay. You can justify it. So I suggest that all of you find your why, find your goal, whatever that is, and then build a plan around that. Build your gold, silver, bronze plan so that you can spend each day doing a little something for yourself.
Yeah, whether it is prepping your food or just deciding that day is going to be a day of hydration, or even if you're able to, if it is something mental where you take some mental time for yourself, 15 minutes to just write in your journal or meditate or just stare out the window. I mean,
Right.
just something just to have some time to yourself. I mean, if that's what you can get in that day, then great. That's your workout for
That's
the
your
day.
workout.
You did it.
Mhm.
Okay. So that way you don't have to feel like you've backpedaled in any way or anything like that. Anything that's positive towards your mental and physical well-being is always a step forward.
It sure is. So,
Well, with all that being said, thank you as always for tuning in to the Trippi Coaching Podcast. I, of course, have been who else but Tommy else.
and I am Andrea Trippi, and until the next time, here's to a healthier, more confident you.
The Trippi Coaching Podcast is produced and mixed by me. Who else but Tommy else? Theme song provided by Professor Click. Be sure and check him out at professorclick.com. All one word, KLIQ.com. The content provided in the Trippi Coaching Podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for professional medical, health, wellness advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition.